had a major victory at the Supreme Court. And I want to go over it with you real quick so that you can be well educated, all right? Now, this is not, pull up your chair, because this is not just some dry legal update that I'm about to give you. It's one of those moments where law, morality, national security, and the culture war all intersect like a four-way stop with no traffic lights. I want to read to you the words that sparked a firestorm of legal drama in Washington, D.C. And these words were written in a lawsuit, and they were written by President Trump. And I quote, "The medical, surgical, and mental health constraints on an individual with gender dysphoria is inconsistent with the high standards for troop readiness, lethality, cohesion, honesty, humility, uniformity, and integrity." That one phrase put off a firestorm in the world of lawyers, especially among the liberals. Notice what he said. Notice it carefully. The medical, the surgical, and the mental health constraints on a person that has gender dysphoria is inconsistent with the following. Number one, readiness, lethal, cohesion, and there's a word that I found interesting, honesty. If you'll lie about who you are, how could you ever be trusted to tell the truth? Now, what does that mean? Let me break it down as only Professor Toto can. Let me educate this class like it's Constitutional Law 101 with a little twist of Toto truth, okay? Trump did not just issue some random opinion here when he said those words. He was acting as commander-in-chief of the greatest military in the world, a constitutional role entrusted to him in preparing and protecting the United States military. He alone is solely responsible for our military. Just like in Great Britain, the Queen or the King are solely responsible for the military. So he gave an executive order that said transgendered people cannot serve in his military. And that executive order was not about feelings. It was about function. Let's be real. The military is not a social experiment. It is a lethal, disciplined machine whose purpose is to defend and destroy when necessary. So when a president evaluates policies based on whether they increase or decrease that lethality, that cohesion, that integrity, all he's doing is his job. He's not being transphobic. He's being commander-in-chief. It's not about hating anyone. It's about saying, if someone is in the middle of transition surgery, or they're on hormone treatments, or they're navigating severe mental distress because of gender dysphoria, are they at optimal readiness to go into combat zones, to live in barracks, to deploy at a moment's notice? Trump said no, and I agree with that. Now, let's fast forward into the courtroom. A little district judge tried to block this policy, tried to stop Donald Trump from doing his job. What did he do? He issued a nationwide injunction. One of those moves that we're seeing way too often, where a single federal judge tries to shut down federal executive policy. Well, you know Donald Trump didn't take that lying down. He took it to the Supreme Court, and guess what happened today or yesterday? One of the two. The SCOTUS said, hold up. That's what they did. In a 6-3 decision. And you know the three bobbleheads that, you already know. They all blocked, 6 out of 9, blocked that lower court injunction. And what does that mean? Again, Donald Trump's policy is law. It's in force. Why does that matter? Because this is not just a legal technicality. It's about the Constitution, the separation of powers. The court recognized that when it comes to the military, the executive branch gets deference, not the judiciary. Now, the courts are finally beginning to push back on activist judges who think they run the military. But President Trump's constitutional instincts were dead on. He didn't say ban people because of who they are. He said, we're going to set the standards of troop performance. And if you're undergoing major psychological and physical upheaval, that affects the mission. Now, let's remember something, class. Let's remember something. The military disqualifies people that have diabetes. Let's just get this thing straight as only we can here, okay? The military rejects diabetes. Did you know they reject flat feet? Did you know they reject asthma? Did you know they reject ADHD? Why? Is that not discrimination? Why is that not cruel to all of you ADHD people? Why don't you get your bloomers in a wad? All you people breathing with asthma, why are you not mad that you're being discriminated against? Because you got half of a brain. You understand, you don't need to be shooting a machine gun, spraying your love. I'm coming. Come on, don't be dumb. Combat doesn't care about your identity. It cares about your readiness. So why should gender dysphoria, a condition that often requires hormone therapy, psychological counseling, major surgery, why should they be exempt from that scrutiny? What President Trump did was very bold and very necessary. He undid the Obama craziness. He rejected the idea that military policy should bend to political pressure from the gender identity industrial complex. He said, no, we're going to return to the basics: readiness, integrity, uniformity, cohesion, honesty. And now the Supreme Court is backing it up. But don't think for a second the left won't keep trying. Their goal is to use the military as their next cultural conquest. But America cannot afford a military divided by pronouns, identity politics, or woke ideology. So if you're talking to your friends at work tomorrow, you ladies that cut hair, you people that sell cars, all the rest of you, you're at work and this conversation comes up. How cruel that Trump would ban these people just because of who they are. Well, the flat-feeted people, it's who are they? They're not ready for combat. Trump's executive order meant that our military standards matter more than Twitter tantrums. It meant the commander in chief has the duty to prioritize strength over sensitivity. It meant that serving your country is a privilege, not a therapy session. And all those that say otherwise, tell them to go and listen to Professor Toto. Oh, by the way,